Good to have you join us for Idea TV News at 9. I am Chinatu Oji. Let's begin with the headlines. Labour Ministry unveils OneGov ECM system to drive digital transformation. ASUU renews call for FG to sign BRIGS committee agreement. Sri Lanka shuts offices and schools as floods and landslides kill 56. TINUBU and SOLUDO meet at ASUU Villa, push for stronger regional cooperation. Away from Africa, Israeli army recovers bodies of militants in Gaza tunnels in health. COELEVATE catalytic phone launched to drive health innovation in Nigeria in business. NNPCL spends 17.5 trillion naira on fuel security and pipelines in 12 months. And in sport, AFCON trophy begins global diaspora tour ahead of Morocco 2025. Now the news in full. The Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment has launched the OneGov Enterprise Content Management System, a digital platform aimed at modernizing its internal operations. Speaking at the launch in Abuja, Minister of Labour and Employment, Dr. Mohammed Dingadi, said the system will digitize key documents, streamline workflows, reduce administrative delays, and enhance transparency in service delivery. He described the initiative as a significant milestone in the ministry's digital transformation agenda. The minister highlighted that the ECM system will not only improve efficiency but also support regulatory compliance by ensuring official records are properly secured and accessible. He emphasized the need for continuous training of staff to fully maximize the benefits of the new system. In a goodwill message, the head of the civil service at the Federation, Mrs. Esther Wilson-Jack, praised the ministry for embracing a modern paperless administrative culture. She noted that the OneGov cloud ecosystem featuring tools such as GovDrive, GovMail, e-signatures, and GovConference will enable automated workflows and real-time collaboration across government institutions. Permanent Secretary of the Ministry, Dr. Saliu Usman, reaffirmed that the deployment of the OneGov ECM aligns with the federal government's renewed hope agenda, which prioritizes efficiency, transparency, and citizen-centered governance. He described the launch as a testament to the ministry's commitment to service transformation following similar migration efforts recently completed by the Office of the Head of the Civil Service of the Federation. Moving ahead, the Academic Staff Union of Universities, ASUU, University of Calabar chapter, has urged the federal government to immediately implement the recommendations of the Prof. Nimi BRIGS-led committee. The chapter chairman, Dr. Peter Obi, made the appeal in an interview in Calabar, expressing concern that the government has continued to ignore the union's demands despite previous engagements and deadlines. Dr. Obi explained that although ASUU had shifted its initial request for African average salaries to a more modest West African average, the federal government still rejected both proposals. He noted that the union eventually accepted the offer presented by the BRIGS committee in the spirit of compromise, but the government has since refused to sign the outcome of the negotiations if initiated. He added that ASUU also rejected the 35% salary increase proposed by the government because it did not align with the BRIGS committee recommendations. The union insists it will stand by the draft agreement submitted in 2021, which remains the latest framework for discussion, even as the Minister of Education, Tunji Alausa, recently clarified that the 2009 FG and ASUU agreement remains the last formally signed pact. Moving on. Sri Lanka has closed all government offices and schools as a death toll from widespread flooding and landslides climbed to 56. The country has been battling severe weather for more than a week, with conditions worsening on Thursday as heavy rain submerged homes, farmlands and major roads, while also triggering deadly landslides across several regions. According to the Disaster Management Center, more than 25 people were killed in the central tea-growing districts of Badula and Nwara Elia, where landslides swept through communities about 300 kilometers east of Colombo. Authorities also reported 21 people missing and at least 14 injured in the affected areas, while additional fatalities were recorded in the other parts of the country as saturated hillsides gave way. Daily life has been heavily disrupted with overflowing reservoirs, blocked highways, and halted train services, leaving many communities stranded. Emergency teams, including the Air Force, Navy, and police, have been deployed for rescue operations, pulling survivors from rooftops and navigating flooded streets by boat. One incident near Ampara showed a car being swept away by fast-rising waters, killing all 3 passengers, underscoring the scale and danger of the ongoing disaster. In another news, President Bola TINUBU has met with the Governor of Anambra State, Professor Chukwuma SOLUDO, at the State House in Abuja, where both leaders discussed regional cooperation, security, and national development. Governor SOLUDO, who shared details of the visit on Friday, said the President received him warmly and congratulated him on his recent re-election victory, describing it as a strong endorsement from the people of Anambra. During the meeting, SOLUDO emphasized the need for deeper regional partnerships, people-centered policies and institutional reforms to strengthen national unity and prosperity. He reiterated that strengthened cooperation among states remains vital to tackling Nigeria's security and economic challenges. The governor's visit followed a high-level meeting of southern governors and traditional rulers held in Ogun State, where leaders adopted a comprehensive strategy to improve regional security, economic resilience and governance. A statement by SOLUDO's press secretary, Christian Aburime, noted that the southern leaders who passed a vote of confidence in President TINUBU while agreeing on key measures such as a zonal security fund, improved intelligence sharing, stronger regional security networks and sustained advocacy for the creation of state police. The forum further resolved to protect natural resources, reinforce traditional institutions and present a unified regional voice in national affairs. Let's take this break, the news continues.
Nothing is easy. Nothing is free. If you want to be successful, you have to pay the price. Nothing is free. Nothing is easy. Easy means you have to think different. You have to do different. For example, early days in my company, when some ideas come to my desk, Jack, this is a great idea, and I look at everybody. Everybody say it is a good idea, I normally throw into the rubbish. Because everybody say it is good, then all the other people think of. If everybody say this is going to be very tough, I'm very interested in that tough question. And I pick up and say, how can we do in a different way? This is to be unique, to be different.
Facebook wasn't the first thing I built. I also built chat systems and games, study tools and music players, and I'm not alone. J.K. Rowling got rejected 12 times before she finally wrote and published Harry Potter. I don't know how to build a dam. I don't know how to get 1 million people involved in anything. Well, let me tell you a secret. No one does when they begin. Ideas don't come out fully formed. They only become clear as you work on them. You just have to get started.
Good to know you're still there. Now on the rest of the news. Away from Africa, the Israeli military says it has recovered the bodies of 9 Palestinian militants during ongoing operations inside Hamas tunnel network in the southern Gaza Strip. According to the army, the discovery was made in eastern Rafah, where soldiers have been conducting targeted operations to dismantle what they describe as underground terror infrastructure. The latest findings bring the number of militants reportedly killed while attempting to flee through the tunnel system to more than 30. This development comes as delicate negotiations continue over the fate of dozens of Hamas fighters still trapped in tunnels beneath Israeli-controlled areas near Rafah. Multiple diplomatic sources say the United States, Egypt, Turkey and Qatar are actively working to broker an arrangement that would allow safe passage for the militants, a move Israel's leadership has publicly resisted. Hamas for the first time openly appealed to mediating countries earlier in the week, urging a pressure on Israel to permit humanitarian exit route for those underground fighters. The situation unfolds against the backdrop of a fragile U.S. brokered ceasefire reached on October 10th, while the agreement mandated Israel's withdrawal behind the so-called yellow line inside Gaza. Both sides have continued to trade accusations of violations, while humanitarian conditions in Gaza remain dire. The war triggered by Hamas' October 7, 2023 attack that killed 1,221 people in Israel has since claimed more than 69,799 Palestinian lives, according to Gaza health authorities. The ministry also reports that despite the ceasefire, over 350 Palestinians have been killed by Israeli fire since it took effect. And in health now, the Society for Family Health, through the affiliate organization SFH Access to Health, has launched a COELEVATE CATALYTIC fund, an initiative designed to boost health innovation and support early-stage startups across Nigeria. Unveiled yesterday with backing from the Lagos State Ministry of Health, the fund will provide financial and technical assistance to emerging companies working in health technology, water and sanitation, pharmaceutical research, and non-communicable diseases. Speaking at the launch, Chairman of the SFH Access Board, Alhaji Ahmed Yakasai, described the program as a transformative investment in Nigeria's health ecosystem. He said the initiative reflects a commitment to advancing healthcare solutions for vulnerable populations, adding that many local innovators simply need structured support to scale impactful ideas capable of improving care delivery nationwide. Managing Director of Programs at SFH Access, Mr. Dennis Aizobu, noted that the fund underscores the organization's belief in continuous innovation as a pathway to national progress. He further stressed that the goal is to expand access to essential services from healthcare to sanitation while bridging gaps in academia, technology, and the pharmaceutical sector. Established in 2022, SFH Access focuses on expanding access to affordable, quality healthcare through innovation and large-scale partnerships. In business now, the Nigerian National Petroleum Company Limited (NNPCL) has incurred 17.5 trillion naira in cost for pipeline protection, energy security operations and related activities in the 2024 financial year, according to the company's consolidated financial statements. The expenditures cover the safeguarding of critical oil and gas infrastructure, prevention of crude oil theft, pipeline surveillance, and measures aimed at stabilizing petrol prices under the government-regulated rate. Out of the total, 7.13 trillion was spent specifically on energy security operations, while 8.67 trillion represented under recovery on refined petroleum products due to the gap between actual import cost and regulated pump prices. An additional 8.84 trillion naira was recorded as other receivables from the Federation, covering advances to the federal government and extra security costs incurred in protecting national oil assets. Analysts have called for a forensic audit of the spending, citing concerns over persistent crude theft, operational opacity, and rising costs amid regulated fuel pricing. Despite the high expenditures, NNPCL posted a profit after tax of 5.4 trillion naira in 2024, a 64% increase from the previous year, reflecting higher production volumes, cost management, and operational efficiency. Under Section 64 of the Petroleum Industry Act 2021, the government bears the costs incurred by NNPCL as a supplier of last resort, but the report provided no clear timeline for reimbursement, highlighting growing financial pressure on the National Oil Company as it continues to ensure energy security and affordable fuel supply for Nigerians. And finally, in sport, the Africa Cup of Nations trophy has officially begun its global tour, starting with an unveiling in London on Thursday ahead of next month's tournament. The Morocco 2025 Diaspora Tour will take the iconic trophy from London to Paris and later Tokyo, celebrating the spirit of African football and strengthening connections with fans across the world. Former Kenyan international Victor Wanyama was among the personalities present at the launch. Speaking at the event, Wanyama highlighted the difficult journey many teams face on the road to qualification, noting the intense physical and technical demands of African football. He praised the commitment shown by players across the continent, adding that the competitiveness of the game continues to grow and that emerging teams are proving their strengths on the global stage. AFCON 2025 kicks off on December 21 in Morocco, and matches scheduled across Casablanca, Marrakech, and Rabat and Agadir until the final on January 18, 2026. This year's tournament is expected to feature top African stars including Sadio Mane, Achraf Hakimi, Mohamed Salah, Victor Osimhen, and Mohamed Kudus as the continent prepares for a showcase of talent, passion, and unity. And that's all we have for you on Idea TV News at 9. But before we go, a recap of the headlines. Labour Ministry unveils OneGov ECM system to drive digital transformation. ASUU renews call for FG to sign BRIGGS committee agreement. Sri Lanka shuts offices, schools as floods, landslides kill 56. TINUBU and SOLUDO meet at ASUU Villa and push for stronger regional cooperation. Away from Africa, Israeli army recovers bodies of militants in Gaza tunnels in health. COELEVATE Catalytic Fund launched to drive health innovation in Africa and Nigeria. In business, Zimbabwe set to raise gold royalties amid surging prices in sports. AFCON Trophy begins global diaspora tour ahead of Morocco 2025. Do not forget to follow us across our different social media platforms at Idea TV. I am Chinatu Oji. Thanks for your time.